Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of my Dark Souls 3 quality build playthrough. My name is Tebril, and today we're going on another journey into the cathedral. In the last episode, we just made our way between the swamp, the beginning of the swamp area and the cathedral, and well, now we're back in Firelink Shrine. I did a little tiny bit of farming off camera, so that's why our soul count is a bit different. I also bought a few arrows too. So I bought 30 feather arrows. I'm probably going to need a bit more than that, but I thought 30 would do for now. And I also now have the Black Knight Greatsword. Now this is a very, very good weapon, and is one of the most powerful weapons in the game damage-wise. Once you hit pretty high strength and dex. I might be using this later, so I figured I would just grab it now. I can't quite use it yet, but here soon I will be able to. Now I also wanted to level up just a bit. Bam. Now we're even there.
Farewell, Ashen.
And also, we need to go over to her. And give her the umbral ash we found earlier. Yep, she mostly says the same thing for everything except for the last ash that we gave her. So now she sells a few more things. So just big head, wood bolt, feather bolt, we already knew. Lloyd's shield ring boosts damage absorption when HP is full. So that's pretty good. I don't really use it ever though. Aside from that, I think she sells like crescent axe and composite bow now, which is pretty alright. And I think maybe the dual charms were added too. I don't quite remember what everything they drop or, you know, give you, so excuse me for forgetting a bit. I don't believe these were here before though, so those are very good. We won't need it quite yet, but we will here in the future. But more importantly, we are going to want to buy a torch. And also the Undead Legion, their armor is here too. So I think I'm actually going to pick up that a bit as well. It's not necessarily needed, but I do like the look of it. As you can see, it's a straight, not that one. Here it is. It's a straight downgrade in a lot of areas. However, it's a hell of a lot lighter than what we're currently wearing, and we don't really need poise all that much at the moment. Although it's definitely good, as you can see. Pretty cool looking. And putting our trousers, going over to the Undead Legion again. Although that's actually a little bit heavier, interestingly enough. I'm trying to go for weight-wise right now. Let's see here. Can we afford anything else? Or anything that doesn't make us look completely ridiculous? Oh, look like we're wearing our pajamas, but, whatever. Okay. And just a quick look through everything I have here. And we're good, I think. Again, I'm not really going for any super optimized build or anything like that. I'm just kind of showing some stuff. I really like the cape on this, though. It's very wiggly. Okay. Now, let's see here. I don't think I have anything to give him. And I don't think I can upgrade anything. However, we will be able to upgrade this Black Knight Greatsword here very shortly. I think I can two-hand it now. I'll have to check really quick. Yep, now I can two-hand it, which is very good. And we are underweight as well, so if we wanted to use this as a main weapon, we technically could right now. Because it's a pretty damn decent weapon. However, I think right now, we're going to stick with our Hollow Knight Greatsword. We will go ahead and keep an eye on that later, though, especially once we start getting into the catacombs area. Okay, for now, let's go ahead and head off. straight into the cleansing chapel bonfire. I might want to change my hands there too, because that looks a little bit ridiculous, but again, not too terribly worried about looks or anything. Yeah, I'll talk to him later. Okay, stop friggin' jizzing your pants over there. Talk to you later. Okay, just looking for anything that doesn't look too terrible. Everything here is straight up just worse almost, except for the Lothric Knight. Which we could technically wear, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure why, but whatever. That works. With this, that would free up a slot, should we want to use it. Again, not too terribly worried. Okay, so now that we're out here, let's go ahead and kill a couple of these guys. Of course, that guy exploded on us earlier, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for him. And those guys will also do that as well. And we got an Estus shard. So, should we want to go back to Andre, we could. Down here is an area you can go to get quickly down to where we want to go. However, this over here is the quote-unquote main path. Which, I forgot, I'm going to want to grab that torch. There we go. The main reason is that these guys will have these leech or like bug-like things that'll sometimes come off of you. And they'll cause bleeding over time. So you're going to want to take out your torch there, and it'll get rid of the little buggers so that it won't do anything. This place can be a little bit confusing because there's a lot of little paths you can go onto that more or less lead to either nowhere or everywhere else. I figured I would show some of them. And there is another weapon here. I think it's the Astora Greatsword. That's actually quite decent. Let me grab this. There it is. And that's where it came from, I believe. Again, there's a lot of little paths here which more or less lead to either nowhere or interspersed with other paths, so it can be a tad bit confusing, even for me, because this is an area I don't do a huge amount. Now down there is an area I'm probably going to want to visit here in a second. See over there though, it's a lot of enemies leaning back out. That was interesting. It counted that as a backstab. As you can see, though, Executioner's Greatsword, that's also a very good weapon, too. These guys aren't really that hard to kill, like, at all. It's those guys you gotta worry about once they, spit out their maggots. Then it becomes a bit of a problem. Now, I think this is back where we came from, so we're gonna head up this way. And it'll eventually lead to where we want to go. Here we go. So let's just take a couple enemies out behind us. Okay. And here we go. Now, these guys are very weak to fire, the maggoty ones. So keep that in mind should you have any fire bombs or anything like that. I probably should have stocked up on some on my way over here. But let's go over here really quick before we do anything else. I think this just leads back down to where I was earlier. And as you can see, there is a lot of paths which kind of coincide with each other. I will be exploring the area down below, by the way, so don't you worry about that. As you can see, now we have bleeding on us. And it's continually going up. If you can see, there's these like little maggoty things on us. It's a little hard to see, but there you go. Use that, and they fall off. Now, there is a bunch of arrows in here, so guess who was over here? Our giant guy shooting stuff. Because we made friends with him, it'll make this area over here a lot easier. Now, that's the guy you need to worry about in this area. They can deal a decent amount of damage to you, should you let them. They're very fast. However, thankfully, they are also very easily stunned. And if you have trouble with them, you can always jump down here and let our friend the giant take care of them. Once you start getting over into this area, he'll start shooting. Oh, we got an undead bone shard. Very good. And really, there's not a whole lot over here. You don't even technically need to make friends with him to go over to any of these areas, but it does make it a heck of a lot easier to deal with it, especially if you're having trouble with some of the enemies in this area, which more or less you shouldn't, because a good lot of these guys go down pretty dang easy. Especially if you have any fire-based weaponry. Okay. So that is that. I think that's about it. Okay, and let's go up here. Now, let's go ahead and boop. And now that we're over here, let's grab this, which is the Curse Ward Great Shield. I believe that is the one that the Pursuers used to use in Dark Souls 2. And of course, these things, I believe will spit out stuff further into the area. Now that we kicked this down, we can actually explore this area in full without having to worry about backtracking a whole lot, although it actually isn't that hard to get back to where we were. See, and now we're down here. Except now there's these big old maggot guys here, which aren't that hard to deal with. You can catch them on fire. As you can see, one single firebomb did like 300 damage. They are really, really weak to fire. I cannot stress that enough. And exploring down here on the grounds is very nice. By the way, that little shortcut drop-down area I mentioned leads down to here. And is an easy way to get back from that bonfire to up there, now that we have that ladder opened up for us. Come on. Give me an attack. And bam. No, I think sometimes they'll drop souls, but I can't remember what else they drop. Like most enemies here, they might drop a Titanite shard or two. Also, they seem to have a decent amount of poise as well. I don't think you can backstab them. And they seem to rely a lot on their damage to try and bleed you out. And it says lizard ahead, and that is true because there is in fact a crystal lizard ahead. In fact, I think there is more than one here. You're going to want to try and chase it into that corner there. Whoops, and there we go. Twinkling Titanite. That's very nice. That'll be good for upgrading some weapons we have, including, I believe, the Black Knight Greatsword. And we got another regular Titanite shard over that way. Okay. Of course, that wasn't the only crystal lizard here. There's this one right here, which we're going to want to chase into a corner. And then there's another one over here. Except, of course, this is of the monstrosity variety. And see, we already took out a good chunk of his health just by hitting him. And he's dead. Easy peasy. Titanite scale. Unfortunately, I don't think that one held a 2. Just 1 this time. It's interesting how that doesn't seem to do any damage. Yeah, you can do a plunging attack against them if you so choose, but really, they aren't that hard to deal with. Even with most type of normal weapons. Like, you don't really need a boss soul weapon to kill those things. You know, you saw me kill the very first one with just the regular sword, after all. Okay. Oops. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and put that back on there. Let's put our bow on, not that one. There we go. And we should have some fire arrows left. You see, that does a lot of damage. That's not the only one in here, though. I believe there's another one over... Nope, that was actually the only one in here. For some reason, I remembered that there was 2. Poison bite ring. Ring is a little useless now that we aren't really running into poison all that much. Although there is 1 or 2 areas left in the game, I believe, that deals with poison. Excluding the DLC area, of course. Ring City. Okay, so going up here, there is this item here, and that leads just directly back into the bonfire room. So we're going to ignore that for now. And I want to get back up there to grab an item. Really quiet out. Wow, it's like things aren't trying to kill me. Okay, let's go grab this. And there we go, another Titanite shard. So now we are, again, tripping over Titanite shards. So, this late in the game, they start giving you more and more, of course. Hidden path ahead. I don't remember there being any hidden path ahead around here, but, you know, might as well hit stuff. Because bam. Yeah. I don't remember anything over there. So enemies will start to drop them more and more, and of course, we will have an easier time upgrading whatever the heck we want. Sorry for the noise. I have a roommate coming upstairs, I think. And we got plenty of Estus flasks and whatnot, so I'm not going to go back to the bonfire quite yet. Okay. And now that we got that all taken care of, now it's time to go up here. Now there is a couple of items around here for us to grab, of course. Rusted coin, those are good for farming enemies, increases your item find chance, and that's what I used to get the Black Knight Greatsword earlier. Bug pellet. Now there'll be enemies that'll shoot you over here, right up there, past this guy. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, if that's how you guys want to play, then. Yep, that's how they want to play. We're gonna run past. Okay. Fortunately, they caught me straight in a pickle. Anyways, this is what the feathered arrows are for. Ooh, ow. Okay, one more hit could kill me. And really, you don't need to do it this way. I could be way more aggressive here. I just want to show you guys how the feathered arrows does damage. See, 77 from that far off, which is a pretty decent amount. And even if you completely block it, it does deal damage anyways because of a fire enchant on there. Oh, fire bombs. Those are useful. Okay. And of course, there is an enemy right there, which we can take care of. I think he comes alive if you try, or awake, if you try to run past here without doing much. And I don't think we really need this bow anymore. Or not the bow, the torch. So we're going to put that there. Now there are a lot of enemies here. This is ambush central. So keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of enemies here that'll try to kill you via ambushes. I believe there's at least one around here-ish that'll pop up once we start moving. And of course, there are more over here. See, there we go. And there's one behind me. It's hard to tell where they pop up, though. Got him. And the guys with the big swords are not to be underestimated because they can actually deal a decent amount of damage to you in a very short amount of time. And those arrow guys are more annoying than lethal, as you saw. Although, it was more of a problem because I couldn't heal at the time. Whoops, just barely missed the head there. There we go. Like I said, fight smart, not necessarily harder. Okay, now we got more people shooting at us, but now it's not too terribly much of a problem. And we still got one or two around here. You're always going to want to check behind stuff around here because they like to curl up in corners. Okay. Now we're going to go down that way here shortly, but for now... See that? That is a foot. You see how I just got hurt there quite a bit? Even though they just more or less jumped on me? I figured I would show you what that looked like. Because you could shoot them down from there too. And there is an enemy patrolling over here, so I'm going to want to take him out first before anything else. Right in the face. Whoops. As you can see, we dealt a lot of damage there to him. Because he counts as a hollow, if I remember right. And through here, we're going to want to put probably one in each of their heads. Just so we don't have to deal with them when we fight her. That was a massive amount of damage. There we go. And Undead Hunter's Charm. Of course, those are Lloyd's Talisman. They prevent other people from healing. That was what was used against me earlier. They also have, of course, the hidden effect of allowing you to open up mimic chests without worry. And of course, be wary of recklessness. That is actually really quite true, because again, this is ambush central. In fact, if I remember right, if you're careful, you can see that there's a guy on top of the building up there. But that's not what you want to worry about. See, that guy. And that one right there. They almost seem to be able to do damage to you even when they're not attacking. It just seems like their charge itself deals damage, which is interesting. And this guy, I'm pretty sure that's just a random person. Yeah. And I know I'm wasting my feather arrows. I don't really need them anymore, so I might as well just switch over to standard. Thankfully, they make a lot of noise when they come up behind you because of their little shackly things on them, on their neck. And there we go. Those two are taken out. And usually there is an enemy up here. If you're able to do it right, you can actually sneak up upon the enemy in here. Okay, now we will need to call an enemy over here. If he'll stop moving. Because there are two in there of those really fast guys that we fought earlier, and you don't generally want to fight more than one at once if possible, just because they attack quite a bit. And God, he's just running around randomly. It's almost like he knows I'm aiming at him. There we go. There we go. Easy enough to take care of. And there should be another one coming. There we go. Got him first. Nice. Now, I don't think there's too terribly much around here, but it's always good to take a second look. Okay. Just so you can be sure. And those guys will try and explode on you, or at least one of them will. When they do, you could try and take them out with an arrow, or you could just run away and let them kill each other. Because I believe that blast also does AoE damage. And if you could just kill them before they do anything, that works too. The blast deals a decent amount of damage, but it is survivable should you have at least a good chunk of your health. So keep that in mind. Lots of ambushes here. Now that's where we need to go. However, there is still a little bit around here. Only a little bit though. We're going to want to take these guys out from a distance. Of course, they're all praying and whatnot, but that's not what you need to worry about. Whoops. Somehow missed that. Oh, and of course, you know, he's not shielding his head, but somehow it still blocks it anyways. There we go. Oh, he healed. I didn't even know they could heal. Well, it's not like I'm too terribly worried about that anyways. What I'm worried about is the guy around that corner. I probably did way too much preparation for that, but he is the guy you need to worry about, if only because he'll deal a decent amount of damage to you, as you can see. And then that happens. And you get for your troubles an ember, which at this point, if you haven't died a whole lot, you should have a decent chunk. Granted, I died several times in the last episode or so, but hey, even with that, dying like 4 times or so, I still have 16 embers. Anyways, open this big door. This is the main door you want to be opening. And this will lead into the cathedral proper. Sorry, proper. Mouth is a bit dry. There's a giant down there. A really big ass giant. Hence the name, I guess. And there's a sludge there. Now, these guys, like other slimes in the series, they are very weak against fire. Except for the ones in the area we'll be going here soon. Those ones are kind of made of fire, so of course fire doesn't hurt them. And just quickly run over here, like that. As you can see, even just standing in that for a little bit gave me that build up there. Take that guy out first. These guys do fire damage. As you can see though, it did a pitiful amount even when it hit straight on. These guys are more or less really easy to take care of. So don't worry about them too terribly much. Interesting how they kind of fade away though, unlike most enemies which just drop dead. Now, before we go over there, let's head downstairs first. There should be one more slime enemy around here-ish, I think. Well, generally there likes to be anyways. I'm not sure where it went. However, there is this person right here, which of course we fought one a little bit earlier. If you're very careful, you can backstab her, which I did the backstab animation, but wasn't able to actually backstab her, unfortunately. There we go. There we go. And she is guarding a deep gem. Makes it so that you can put deep on your weapon, which does dark damage. Very interesting view there. Oh, there it is. Guess it likes to plop down once you come out from there. Okay, so going through there is going to be our next venture, but first, we're going to want to go here. And why, you may ask? This is a shortcut. Now, first and foremost, you need to open up a bit more before it comes a true shortcut. That just opens up an area out to here, because this is actually a really nicely built area where multiple shortcuts are built into the same area. It kind of loops around a bit. So you need to open up this door as well. This leads straight back to where we started. And I think with that, that'll make an episode. So thank you all for joining me on this episode of my quality build playthrough. Hope you all enjoyed. Give a like, subscribe, and all that junk if you enjoyed. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody, and take care.